Hey there, Doug Sahlin, your digital photo guru. Today I'm going to show you a very cool feature in Lightroom 10, the color grading panel. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified when I post new videos. And leave a like and comments. And now on to the tutorial. The new color grading panel in Lightroom is like split toning on steroids. And if you watch the video all the way to the end, I've got a cool tip for you. Let's open up the panel real quick. In the old split toning panel, you could apply a tone to shadows and highlights. In the color grading panel, you can apply to shadows, highlights, and midtones. In addition, you can apply a tone globally. So let's get into it. This way you can edit all three at once. So let's go to our shadows and just click and drag until we've got a pleasing tone. And one thing, I'm going around and as I rotate around the color wheel, I can change my hue, saturation, and if I hold down the Command key on a Mac or the Control key on a Windows machine, notice I've got this little circle, and I am just changing the hue and not the saturation. When I find a hue I like, if I hold down the Shift key, I can change the saturation of that hue, and only that hue. So you've got a really good amount of control on this. Now let's go to the highlights. And again, I'm going to start dragging until I get a color I like, and then hold down the Shift key to vary my saturation. And let's do the same thing now with the midtones. And notice when I right click, I've got a context menu. I can reset the midtones or reset three-way or reset all ranges. Or I can copy the settings from this and then paste the settings from the midtones to the highlights. Or I can work with each one individually. And notice I've got a luminance slider on the bottom. And if I go back to my three-way, there's my luminance slider. So you've got a really great amount of control over your colors. And I'm just going to go into shadows alone, and I can blend whether I wanted a stronger blend or a lighter blend. And if I go too far, I can double click to get it back to the center again. And now I can choose the balance. If I want to balance it towards shadows only, more towards shadows, or more towards the other two ranges. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to reset all ranges and get it back to the way it was. Now let's go globally. And again, I can apply a global tint holding down the Shift key. I'm going to get a better look at this. Holding down the Shift key, I'm varying the saturation. Holding down the Command key on a Mac, Control on a Windows machine, I'm varying the hue, and then I go down to my luminance slider. And this is a copy. Now let me show you what the original looked like when I was done with it. Go back to my history, and I added a camera profile to it. And that's what I ended up with when I put a vignette on it and did my color grading. And I promised you a tip at the end of the tutorial. And If you like what you've done, you simply go into presets, and why work harder when you can work smarter? Just click the plus sign to create a preset, and you get this huge dialog box. So I'm going to click none, and I'm just going to click color grading, and I'm going to call this pretty in pink. And now let's test out the preset. So I'm going to go back in history and go into my awesome presets and choose pretty in pink. So there you have it, the color grading panel in Lightroom 10.